So, Drew, the first question submitted in our Ask the Pastor episode here is a big one. Is the threat of churches losing their tax status legit? And if so, what would that mean for the church?
Great question. Being a student of the church for decades and being involved and knowing, not perfectly, but understanding some of where our government here in the United States is it a threat? Yeah, it very well could be. Not saying it is, but it very well could be. I guess the bigger question that comes behind that maybe was not asked, but implied in the question, what would that mean? So if it is a threat, and let's say the church tax status is pulled, there's a potential that giving may go down. Now, people often, I hear in our seminars that people are giving and they're looking at it as that tax deduction that they're getting. Now, the government keeps on raising the
standard deduction.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to remember.
I got you.
So thank you for covering me on that one. So that standard deduction has been increasing. So unlikely people are giving to that minimum for the standard deduction. But there was a point where there was that capability that's there.
Can I explain why that's important?
Yes,
really
please
quickly?
do.
So if you're confused, like standard deduction giving, why does that matter? Well, because when you do your taxes at the end of the year, there's a standard deduction that the IRS offers to basically deduct your income down to a certain amount. Now, most people are going to take that because it's pretty high. I think for a married couple, it's sitting around the $30,000 mark.
Right around that, yeah.
See the IRS for more exact numbers on your given year. But anyway, so that means that in order to itemize on your taxes, i.e. deduct even more of your income so that less of it is taxable, that means you have to give even more to a nonprofit organization like the church.
Right.
So the standard deduction is going up and it's so high, a lot of people don't even worry about itemizing their taxes anymore because the standard deduction is so high. So that's why those two things are important.
2 Corinthians was not given with this American tax code in our minds, so it wasn't there. We're supposed to give out of gratitude, out of a grateful, cheerful heart. That's how we're supposed to give. There's a lot of people who want to see a church's 501c3 status just eliminated and eradicated. Why is that? Because the church has such good influence. If the church is doing what it's called to do and reaching its own Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and uttermost parts of the world, when that happens, we are having a great kingdom impact. And some people don't want that church to have it. Why? They want and how they can interact that and intercede that is saying, hey, let's strip this nonprofit status from the church. And some of them are being more political at times, and they're saying, we got to have separation of church and state, which really is not listed within our Constitution, bylaws, and all those pieces there. It's not listed there. So very important that's there. Though people are trying to strive and push and get that taken care of and get that eradicated, unlikely that is going to happen. The church is still very active and it will have it. In fact, churches are automatically, when they are birthed, they are automatically grandfathered into this 501c3 status, and according to the U.S. tax code. Now, there are churches that choose to apply for an official 501c3 status. Difference that's there is, one, you're grandfathered in because you are a nonprofit, because you are a church, but the other is, I'm applying for it. Why is that? Because some churches want to apply for this 501c3 status because they can get grants, they can get donations from nonprofit, from for-profit organizations that want to give generously. There's different places out there where churches can tag on to different probably technology companies that are out there that are offering free or discounted services to a 501c3 nonprofit status entity, which could be a church, and they then get that discount, which can be extreme for that church. One of the things that I have learned that's out there, And I've learned specifically from one of our partner ministries, National Center for Life and Liberty, ncll.org. Love the guys, David Gibbs III and his whole team there. One of the things, as I traveled with him and his team for an entire month years ago, he knows and understands legal pieces like none other within the legal field and church field together. He gets it, knows it, and understands it. And his high recommendation is for a church not to apply for the official 501c3 status, to choose not to go there. You're automatically there as a church, according to the U.S. tax code. And whether it's an old church or whether it's a new church, you're automatically there. Once you apply for it, now you're under their umbrella. Now you have to subscribe to all their paperwork and all those pieces. And if you start then getting those bonuses and perks and everything else from that official 501c3 status, if that happens, then what the government says is what the church has to do. And if I remember right and process right, but I would highly recommend contact ncll.org and David Gibbs and the third and his team, and they can actually talk you through that. But I am not a fan of having a church get a 501c3 status. Stay in the grandfathered arena of that in the tax code, and from there, carry out your work that you need to do. People should not give just because of that tax code status that they have. We should give because of our heart for the kingdom work that is there. So I will say, through my lenses, has it been trying to be encroached on, to be eliminated? Yes, you hear that every so many years, but unlikely it's going to happen. There will be battles because the church should be having community and worldwide impact. And if we're doing our job right, we need the generosity of believers to be able to make that thing happen.
So if just to summarize what you said, it sounds like, is it a possibility? Sure. It's a threat. Yeah. Is it likely? Probably not, at least right now.
Yeah.
And the people that it would impact mostly are givers to the church. And from there, because we're supposed to be giving out of gratitude and not for a tax deduction, it really shouldn't matter anyway.
Shouldn't matter
for the
at all.
giver.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.